We've made it to Tuesday, everyone. Welcome into the News 10 Plus desk. Hopefully you had a pretty smooth drive into work today.
Yeah, it was a little rainy, a little wet, but
yeah,
we made it here. Nothing an umbrella can't help us with.
Right, and even with the clouds and some of the gloomier skies, Claudia's here to tell us what Studio 10 has coming up to get us pumped up for the day.
Yeah, there's nothing gloomy about Studio 10, I'll tell you that, because it's Take Me Home Tuesday. That means that we have an adorable furry friend joining us on the show today.
And
now,
this is the second time this week that you've brought in a cute furry, or that you will be bringing in a cute little
you're
friend.
right, because we have chunky cats on. Chonky cats.
Chonky cat.
Chonky. This is different.
The kitten you had on yesterday. Oh my god.
I know.
It was so cute.
Really, really cute. And you know, I will say a lot of times we don't know who's going to be joining us on the show until
they
arrive. So I don't know if it's a cat or a dog, but they're always adorable.
They're so cute.
Yeah, so we have
behaved.
Really well behaved.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm shocked. Okay, so I had a puppy back in the day. He did not behave well, and he needs to watch Take Me Home because he needs to get some tips on behavior.
There you go.
Absolutely. And then we are going to talk, you know, it is March. March is reading month. So we're going to talk a little bit about Socialized Society and the new book coming out.
Ooh.
And we're going to, I think it's also good to kind of talk about the books that you're reading as well. Because I think for me, I'm one of those readers where if I'm talking about it, I understand it way more. So
yeah, it's kind of like a Socratic seminar when you get to compare, contrast ideas with other people, or even just like with yourself and talking about it out loud. You're like, oh, and this is how it all comes together.
Totally, like, and we all interpret things differently. So
storytelling.
Exactly. Yes.
There you go.
I'm super excited for this conversation, and then we have. I mean, you're Italian, so you'll enjoy this, but we are going to celebrate Italian heritage today on the show.
Oh my goodness.
No particular reason. There's no national day, you know, about
did I miss
it.
something?
No, you did not. You did not. But we're going to have the Italian American Club of Lansing on the show today, telling us everything about who they are. They were founded in 1935, so they've been around for a long time. We're going to talk about who they are, some fun events they've got coming up, and really like the greater Michigan community, how we're coming together, how we can get those Gen Zers to be interested in their own story about, you know, the American experience, because they tend to not be as interested. So trying to kind of bridge the gap between the generations, talking all of that good stuff. So we've got a really interesting show today. So
I like it. All the way from the Take Me Home Tuesday all the way to the Italians.
Exactly.
I like that.
Won't want to miss it. But you'll see us at 3 p.m.
All right. Thank you, Claudia.
Thank you,
Looking
Taylor.
forward to it. And of course, you can always stay up to date with Studio 10 on their social media handles. Just go to WILX Studio 10. We're going to give Justin some more time right now. I know he's real busy. We want to talk about what else you can find with Studio 10 before we move into First at 4 in our 90 minutes of news. So, of course, if you want to stay up with Studio 10, all you have to do is go to their pages. WILX Studio 10, you're seeing that on your screen. And what I'm doing right now, which is why I'm pausing a little bit here and there, I'm trying to pull it up for you on their YouTube page. That way you can see where to go once you're there. So I did look up WILX Studio 10 on YouTube. If I click on that, let me, expand the page for you all. This is a very sensitive mouse. Click on videos or playlists, however you want to view the page, and scroll down. You can see Teacher of the Week, Amy Schmidt, congratulations, Community Through Charity, Setting Up for Sweet Success, and the Chonky Cat competition that they were talking about with Constellation Cat Cafe yesterday. Lots of fun. And also, Rochelle was very pumped up with the 2024-25 Broadway season and talking about what the Wharton Center has to present. So that is all the great stuff you have to look forward to with Studio 10. If you want to rewatch anything, send a link. Again, let me put up their social media handles. And then also their email is studio10@wilx.com. So if you if you're a business and want to be sponsored or connect with Studio 10, you're more than welcome to do that. And also, if you want to participate in any of their fun question of the days that they always have at the end of their show, you may get a shout out. So go to studio10@wilx.com and you can leave a comment to the question, or also on their Facebook page. I do want to share what else we have coming up today on First at 4 and our 90 minutes of news. And then we will get to your weather because, again, I know it was kind of a little rainy start to the day. So coming up to start off First at 4 during Mid-Michigan Matters today, we're talking about measles in Michigan. So we are bringing the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services to talk about the rise in the cases of measles here in our state, the things you need to look out for to protect yourself also, and then just overall having that general awareness that is here in our state and what to do to prevent yourself, again, from getting it. Coming up, News 10 at 5, the Spartans ice hockey team is on fire as they have a first-round bye for the men's NCAA tournament. So Tim Stout will join us with what Coach Adam Nightingale had to say during a press conference this morning. And then coming up, News 10 at 5, in 2022, jury selection for the James Crumbley trial begins today. Now, this is in connection to the November 2021 shooting at Oxford High School. And the jury duty helps our justice system, but it can also come with added stressors. So again, coming up, News 10 at 5:30, Deanna Giles spoke with a counselor who breaks it all down, and we'll have that story again, News 10 at 5:30. Lastly, coming up during our 90 minutes of news is on News 10 at 6, there was a bill in the legislature that would push a class in schools to talk about organ transplant donations. Our Capitol Bureau correspondent, Zachariah Wheaton, will have more on the push in classrooms. Again, that's what you can look forward to during our 90 minutes of news. Andy Provenzano will be giving you your first alert forecast during that, but we are going to backtrack a little bit and instead see what Justin Bradford has coming up for us. There we go. Let me take that down and then we can see you.
There you go.
Studio 10, first at 4, and talking about the clouds and some of the showers that we experienced today.
Yes, fashionably late, might I add, today.
You're busy,
we're
busy.
doing what we got to do. So what we are doing, and I'll just kind of briefly, we're working on a project right now for a spring weather special that we're doing here, and I was losing track of time working down in the Weather Center, and then I realized, it's 2 o'clock. We should go down that way and take care of that. And so we're here now. Hopefully give you an update on the weather, what's going on. But you can look forward to that spring weather special coming up roughly a month or so, maybe a little after that. And so we'll have updates on that as we get closer to the date. Until then, we're going to keep working hard on it and hopefully not lose too much track of time as we're doing so. We got a lot of good stories that we're going to be shooting, and we hope you'll join us for that when it comes up.
Well, hey, you were just a couple of minutes late. We got it over here. We have plenty to talk
yeah,
about.
for sure.
And again, nothing severe yet, but Justin is doing the special to help prepare all of you when something severe does happen. So I'm glad you are taking care of that.
Yeah.
There you go.
So, and we've already, of course, dealt with some severe weather. Some folks in the area worse than others. And we've had 2 already record warm days. And this is kind of a fun stat. I don't have a graphic to describe it, but in the last 7 days, we have had 2 of the top 3 warmest days in history through this time of the year. That is pretty incredible stat. Yesterday getting to 69 degrees in Lansing. We didn't quite get to 70, including last Tuesday's 73, 74, depending on where you were. We've only had 2 dates ever by this time in the year get to the 70s. And we almost did yesterday, but even that 69 was good enough to slide it right into 3rd place. And so we've now got the warmest and 3rd warmest days ever to this point in the year have both happened in the last week.
And although I will say yesterday felt great to start off with the 70s, it's still one of those you walk out and you're like, it's early March, just like how we felt through most of February going, where's the snow and wintry mix? Like, we're in Michigan. Usually we get that.
Yeah, and if you saw some on the social media channels of, I know myself, Colton, Andy, I think Darren shared one. I think all 4 of us have shared this post. Yeah. National Weather Service in Grand Rapids put together kind of a cool graphic showcasing just where temperatures are compared to normal this winter. There was like a 6-day stretch in January where in the middle of the month where we were below normal, and I think we remember that was that brief cold snap that we had. Other than that, almost every single day in the whole winter was above normal, and so pretty incredible that we've done that. And again, we're staying with that trend. Even the cooler day comes this weekend where we might not make 40. It'll be the first time we've done that in a while here, and so we've got a little bit of cooler air settling in, but even that's going to be brief. And we'll talk about that here in our look at the forecast.
Yeah, I was going to say, if we take a look outside, you're probably feeling the cooler temperatures today, but still warmer than the average.
Right, and that's exactly right. And so you'll notice here that in Jackson, where we got clouds hanging on, the numbers on the Meridian Company Skycam network there are still 48. So that does put us ahead of normal, which is now 40 degrees. by 8 degrees out there early this afternoon, although it is going down, not up, as we head into this afternoon. You'll notice that the satellite and radar has kind of quieted down over the last several hours. There are those storms that may have woken many of you up this morning racing across mid-Michigan. Nothing severe, just a little bit of loud rumbles and then a couple of pockets of steadier rain. Those have since moved out, and we're now into a quieter pattern for the rest of the day. Those showers off now to the east, and we should just stay cloudy for the rest of our Tuesday. Wider view shows that there's nothing behind it either, at least not coming our way. That system to the top left is going to stay maybe even north of the Upper Peninsula, and so we're going to be dry until it looks like we get to late Friday in our forecast. Now, if you're talking highs for today, officially we were in the 60s. A lot of you may find that hard to believe. Well, that's because that was the number at midnight, 62 degrees across all sorts of parts of mid-Michigan. However, we've been falling ever since then, and you can see where the divide between the warm and cold air is. If you're in Hillsdale, you're still feeling 60-degree temperatures, but if you're in Lansing, we've got 45 degrees, and so that's kind of where we're at right now. Continuing again to fall, winds are driving out of the north-northeast, anywhere from 10 to 15, and that's why, again, temperatures will continue to kind of stay steady in these 40s before skating off this evening, but we don't cool down much overnight, only going into the 30s, and a quick look at our hour-by-hour forecast as we move things along here. Once again, shuffles that rain off to the east. Quiet weather expected tonight. The same will be true once we get into the day tomorrow. I do expect a little bit of late day sunshine. You see the numbers climb back up near 50 in some spots. Lansing probably 49, Jackson 50 or 51. Either way, pretty close to 50. It's about 10 above normal. We'll head back on Thursday morning down to numbers near or just below freezing, and then we'll lose the temps off the map, I think, here, but we should get back into the 50s on a widespread basis Thursday before we get towards the end of this week. And so we'll jump ahead here to the 10-day forecast, and again, 52 Thursday, 54 Friday. We bring our next system in. We flip that number around for Saturday, keeping rain showers in the forecast. It is going to be cooler for the weekend, lows in the 20s, and on Sunday we might not even get back to 40. It's going to be a close call either way. And if we do have any system showers that leak into Sunday morning, it would be very early, and we might even bring in a few flakes or snow flurries as well. And so we also spring forward with our clocks, and the temperatures do the same thing next week. We're right back to the 60s. Pretty hard to believe that we keep bouncing right back after like one day here and there that gets below normal. We just surge right back forward again, and we'll do the same thing by the middle of next week. And so if you've been enjoying the recent stretch of the warmer than normal weather and you aren't thrilled, even if 49 or 52 won't do it for you, even though that's still 10 or more degrees above normal, 60s next week I think should get your fix in here for early March. And as we head towards St. Patrick's Day, which is just beyond the end of that forecast.
Coming up quick.
I know last year a lot of folks weren't happy with St. Patrick's Day. We had a little bit of snow, very gross day, it was very cold, it was windy. That's not going to be the case this year. Even if we do start to change the pattern, I will be shocked, very shocked, if St. Patrick's Day is not above normal this year, and probably by several degrees. Now, what exactly weather-wise happens that day, we'll have to wait and see a little while, since that's still almost 2 weeks out. But
that could be lucky.
Yeah, but I'm feeling pretty good about it being warmer than normal and probably a lot more enjoyable this year for folks than it was last year.
All right, well, that's good news.
Yeah, for sure.
Because, yeah, like you were saying how last year was, that's kind of like how Halloween went this year.
I know, yeah.
And then we cleared up, of course. Funny how that works.
And Halloween to this day is still easily the coldest and snowiest holiday that we've had the entire campaign, which is just mind-boggling. But, you know, El Nino's been hard at work, and this is what's kind of brought us. So, you know, that's where we're at. Farmer's Almanac, no good. First alert weather forecast, really good this year. And so it's kind of panned out the way that it's gone. And so we're, again, expecting to see some pretty nice conditions, but the First Alert Weather app's a great way for you to be in tune with everything that you expect to continue going forward this week. And so once again, we've talked a lot about this forecast. If you missed it, or if you just need a quick update and you're not able to watch us live, next best place to get this info is the First Alert Weather app, which once again is absolutely free in Google Play and on the App Store as well. And so we hope you'll download it if you don't have it already. If you do, thank you so much for using it. We are very happy when we see how we continue to grow with our weather app. The numbers keep going up every month with the people who download and use it frequently, and we're very proud of the product we put forth, and so hopefully you are too, and you can enjoy it. And so First Alert Weather app's a good tool to have.
All right. Well, thank you, Justin, and we'll see you at 3 o'clock.
Yep, I'll be back for that. Hard at work. I'm gonna go back in the meantime, keep working on my special graphics. But we appreciate you watching, and hello, Chris, as always, over there in East Lansing.
Good afternoon, Chris.
Yeah.
All right, we'll see you at 3 on Studio 10, which is coming up in 45 minutes here. But like Justin was just showing you, we're going to get those clouds, some showers, even possible flurries. So some of that wintry mix could still be lingering in our forecast. But with all of that, and even springing forward, that coming Sunday, real quick, I'll show you that again here in the 10-day forecast. Make sure to spring your clocks forward an hour that Saturday night, getting you ready for Sunday, and then helping to adjust your schedule as you head into the work week next week. So this week, kind of get yourself prepared and adjust your sleep schedule. Now is the time, so that way you're not too tired when we do spring forward. But with that being said, if you are feeling a bit more down and tired, fatigued, or even facing anxiety, depression, suicidal thoughts, anything of that nature, feel free to go scan that QR code on your screen for a list of resources around Mid-Michigan, connecting you towards mental health care professionals who can help you recognize the signs and symptoms, break out of that stigma and denial, and help you get the treatment that you need. And also speaking to community members from across Mid-Michigan on their own journey and how they are improving their emotional well-being. So again, you're not alone. Mental health series, we're doing this all year long here on News 10. You did hear what I have, or what is coming up today on News 10 for First at 4 and our 90 minutes of news. We have Erin Bowling standing next to me.
Hello.
We have
kind of matchy.
both have the pink today.
Matchy.
I like it.
Yeah, too bad it's not Wednesday. On Wednesdays we wear pink,
know.
but we're a little ahead of schedule. It's all right.
Tomorrow we have the Red Cross, so I was trying to save my red for tomorrow.
Totally.
That's why I wore the pink.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, I like the matching.
Yeah. Well, today I was at the House office building. There was a legislative hearing this morning. They had 2 separate bills that were introduced, and both of them are working to, or aiming to, have public schools, or get public schools a more comprehensive plan for sudden cardiac arrest. So looking at things like they want to require all athletic coaches, all high school coaches, to be trained in CPR and AED, resuscitation, using the AED if somebody does have a sudden cardiac arrest.
Right.
And then the other bill is more so focusing on just the very simple fact of schools having AEDs easily accessible. They said, they want AEDs to be all across campus, and they are hoping to have AEDs as, so let's say there's an athlete in the gym, right? They go into cardiac arrest. They want to have an AED no further than 3 minutes away from the incident. So their goal is, wherever you are in campus, especially if you are in an area where athletics are going on, they want to have AEDs within 3 minutes of that location.
And because every second counts.
Right.
It's a life-saving measure, so you need to act quick and have the knowledge and the resources available.
Yeah, I believe it's 3 minutes is that point where they start, it becomes that danger zone. It's the recovery is going to be a lot harder. The chance of survival is very slim.
Yeah.
And right now there really isn't any, laws requiring AEDs or AED training in schools, that sort of thing. There was a student today that testified, and he spoke about his experience. He's a 3-sport athlete. He was a high school varsity football captain.
So he's active.
Yeah, very active. He was at wrestling practice one day. He said it was a typical day. He didn't notice anything different. He starts running, and he gets a tight pain in his chest and collapses to the ground.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, it's really powerful stuff. He went into cardiac arrest. Yeah.
And sometimes you think, you're just getting a cramp or shortness of breath, but cardiac arrest,
Yeah, and he said he was not expecting it, never would have thought anything like that would happen to him. And it just so happened that their high school volleyball coach was there, and she just so happened to be an ER nurse. So she was able to respond within those 3 minutes and save his life. And because there are no laws or requirements on AEDs in school, the AED that they used on him was nearly dead. The pads on it were expired, and it only had 1 shock left in it. So if,
one shock.
If he had needed another shock, it was very, very powerful testimony. So we'll be hearing from him in my story today, News 10 at 5:30. But there wasn't a whole lot of opposition so much as there was concern. How is this going to be implemented? How will this be paid for? And it did say, I've got the bill right here in front of me, that the legislator legislature has to appropriate funds for these measures and these requirements, otherwise schools would not be required to follow along with it. So it's just a question of where that funding is going to come from. They haven't necessarily gotten to that point yet, but like I said, the bills were just introduced today.
And I know money can always be one of those barriers, which is unfortunate because there's a lot of needs and resources that are in need.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you said, no opposition because, hey, again, these are life-saving measures, CPR training, the AED training, and not just being trained on it, but like you said, having an AED device not more than 3 minutes away from any location.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And there was, it wasn't like strong opposition, like nobody was saying, this is a bad idea, but there was some concern, how is this going to work? I mean, requiring something like that in all schools across the entire state of Michigan, all public schools, it's quite a big task. It's going to cost some money, and it's going to take a lot of time to get these people trained. Who's going to train them? There's a lot of questions that they still have to figure out.
Right. If we could just snap and have it done overnight, I mean, everyone would be doing that, but
not that simple.
There's a process, and you have to go through multiple different people and proposals, all of that, So a lot of work, but great work that's being done.
Yeah. So I'll be breaking down the bills, some of the big aspects and what they would require out of our public schools here in Michigan on News 10 at 5:30.
All right. Well, thank you, Erin. Again, very powerful story that she has coming up News 10 at 5:30. One more time, again, if you are going through anything in kind of relation to Erin's story, there you go. You're not alone. I will give you a few minutes to go ahead. Thank you, Erin. Go ahead and scan that code. Again, no matter what you're going through, if it's a good time in your life or maybe you know someone else going through a hard time in their life, feel free to pass this information forward. Really get them the resources that they need to improve their emotional well-being. And you really never know who is going through something, whether they're trying to hide it, they don't feel comfortable talking about it, anything. At least there are resources that you can help them, help guide them toward, again, improving their mentality. So there you go. That is the You're Not Alone mental health series. Again, make sure to go check that out when you are ready. Until then, we have Mars Anderson ready to tell us what he has coming up for News 10 at 5:30. Mars.
Hi, Taylor. Mars Anderson here in Jackson. Behind me is the T.A. Wilson Academy. This is a former elementary school that is now being used to house the homeless. Now, the city of Jackson will be hearing varied proposals from different organizations who are looking to take over that mission and also purchase the building. I'll have more on that on News 10 at 5:30.
All right, thank you, Mars. Again, what will happen with T.A. Wilson Academy coming up News 10 at 5:30 with Mars Anderson. Moving on to Justin Kent, who is coming up News 10 at 6.
New grant money is being awarded by the state to help fend off some of those invasive species. We even have some in our own backyards here in Ingham County. I'll have more on that story coming up for you guys and what you can do to help prevent that spread coming up in our 6 o'clock news.
All right, thank you, Justin. Learning more about those invasive species. And then coming up News 10 at 6, we have Riley Connell. Riley.
Hey Taylor, happy Tuesday. Well, a special commission met earlier today to make some recommendations for potential raises for city elected officials in 2024 and 2025. Now, those officials include the position of mayor, the city clerk, and members of city council. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about what was recommended coming up on News 10 at 6.
All right, thank you, Riley. That is what we have coming up during our 90 minutes of news today from our reporters. Before we head out here, I do want to give a live look over I-496. You are seeing, again, this morning, very rainy, and you probably woke up with those storms. But right now, you're taking that live look outside again over I-496, and you're seeing that it's more cloudy out there right now, more drier conditions. But watch out on the roadways if there are any puddles, any flooding concerns. Other than that, it's looking pretty good on I-496. Now, I do want to show a different live looks. Oh, there we go. Did not mean to do that. But this is Delta Township, and you're seeing the same thing. Traffic seems to be moving just fine in Delta Township. And then over in Jackson, let me give you a look over there as well. Give me 1 second, change the camera, and there we go in Jackson. So everything seems to be clearing up today, getting pretty quiet. But other than that, that is what we have coming up today on News 10 for this Tuesday. Hopefully those clouds clear, but you're going to have to tune in for Studio 10 to see what Justin Bradford is forecasting for your First Alert forecast. Studio 10 gets started here in just over half an hour, followed by First at 4 and our 90 minutes of news. Have a great Tuesday, everyone.